Yay Networks.
Welcome to Greg Louganis is Alive, the podcast that challenges what you think you know. I'm your host, Greg Louganis, and yes, I'm still alive, and I'm joined today with my good friend and manager, Beth Zinman.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
I am, of course, always thrilled to be here. Always thrilled that you're alive. And by the way, 3 more questions this week on social media or comments. Didn't this guy die? So,
Yeah, you know what? It pops up, Well,
yes.
I mean, I was diagnosed HIV positive in 88, 6 months prior to the Olympic Games. So a lot of people make that assumption. I mean, and we do. We make assumptions, because we're human beings. We're very judgmental, and it's like, okay, and judging. So
someone said they read a news report somewhere, and I have no idea where that was, but yeah, that's why they were asking. But anyway, nonetheless, always thrilled that I'm here and that you're here and alive.
Right, I'm here and alive.
Yeah. So today, instead of asking you what's going on, I actually know what's going on. So we, meaning you and I, are going to unpack what you've done with dogs through your life, and what that's been for you, and like what you're doing now. So we share a lot of this stuff like on your social media, but we thought it would be cool to have a podcast episode dedicated to it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't realize, okay, so how I got started in dogs. I wanted a Great Dane after I retired from diving, because I had a Great Dane when I was still diving, but then I started traveling and just got, I had to rehome her. But I wanted a dog after I retired from diving, and I got this Harlequin Great Dane. He was a show marked Harlequin. And so I co-owned him with the breeder. And so I had to show him in conformation 10 times, to try to get points. And, it just increases the value of their breeding program. So, so then I got started in showing in conformation. And it was so funny because like the first show that I go to, I'm taking freeway in. We went through the classes and all learned how to show a dog in conformation. And so then I go to the show and I'm taking my dog in the ring. And I said, oh my God, you're not taking your own dog in, are you? Because usually what happens is people hire professional handlers to show their dogs. And so it's what I did with my dog. That was our relationship. That's what, something we did together.
Yeah.
So it was important for me to, to show my own dog. But I guess a lot of celebrities or whomever, they usually hire a professional handler. But I really loved it. It was all about my relationship with the dog. That's the reason why I wrote For the Life of Your Dog.
Okay, now you're jumping ahead of me, because today I brought props so that anybody listening right now on Spotify or Apple, you'll have to go over and check out the YouTube so you can see. This is Greg's book, For the Life of Your Dog.
For the Life of Your Dog.
Co-authored
by Beth Zinman. And the thing is, it's not a dog training book. What it is a canine care book.
Yeah.
It goes through the entire lifespan of the dog.
I was just going to say that because I brought this, because I knew we were talking about your history with dogs. I started, rereading some parts of it. Yeah. And I want to share this with the listeners. With the same winning spirit he brought to world-class diving, Greg embraces the challenges and joys of living with dogs and shares his incredible bond and insider's knowledge that has produced best of breed winners. In matters of choosing a new dog, basic care, and specific health and behavioral concerns, Greg tells owners where to be tough, where to be accommodating, and everything in between. And it talks about how passionate you are about dogs, and also that with this book, you created an extraordinary guide to dog ownership that overflows with insight, intelligence, and compassion. And witnessing your relationship with dogs, like firsthand with the dog, it's just perfect.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's, because my first breed was Great Danes.
Which is like your size. They're like almost the same size as you.
Yeah. Actually, a few of them outweighed me.
Oh my gosh, stop.
They
Stop.
were, but with the larger breed dogs, their life expectancy is generally shorter. So I went through the life cycle of, quite a few dogs. So I really wanted to kind of put together what to expect, when choosing a dog, how to choose a dog, and also, going through the different stages that they might go through, their fear periods, where they are, they can be fearful of their shadow. And it really is about building confidence, building confidence in the dog, and showing that, the world is a wonderful place, and it's not so scary. And so, and then also health issues, because with Great Danes, they have a tendency of getting bloat, which is the stomach
that like
turns
human
over.
bloat? Oh.
No.
Oh, wow.
What happens is the stomach fills with air, and then it flips.
Oh
and
my!
So that's torsion, and so it's all I talk about how to recognize it, see the symptoms, what you can do to avoid that. Also, with a large breed dog, you have hip dysplasia, and other things that are particular, like to the breed. Like with Freeway, he had CVI, cervical vertebrae impairment, which is wobblers, which is their spinal cord fluid gets it isn't flowing, and so they become paralyzed from the tail forward. And so, recognizing that, getting, it's a very expensive surgery to have that, to address that. But, that is, something that I went through. And of course the other things of parvo and, all of the other types of things, health issues that you might have. So I wanted to share all of the knowledge that I had. So it's all kind of like in one place. So it goes through the entire life cycle of the dog. They're terrible teens, where they're like, won't listen to you. And it's like, okay, I know better. And, and they're kind of doing their own thing, self-rewarding.
It's funny you say that, Greg, because when I picked up the book again to like bring it here, right?
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? This is like, okay, I say this as a mom of two kids, what to expect when you're expecting a dog, because there's this whole thing like that's marketed to pregnant moms, like what to expect when you're expecting and what to expect the first year. And definitely.
I mean, it really is kind of like that. And also, introduction to a lot of the canine sports things that you can do with your dog, traveling with your dog, how to make the travel less stressful for you and less stressful for them. So because people think, if you have a small dog, just throw it in a Sherpa bag and take it on a plane. Well, no. You want to condition the dog to in like going into their little Sherpa bag, and everything is a game. So it's so it's all of those things. I think the thing what I got most from the response of the book is death and grieving, the hard goodbye.
Yeah, it's very sad to lose a family member like that, their family. Yeah.
I mean, I just went through that with a dog training client that I had, Rocky. He was a King Shepherd, and I just said goodbye to him. And so, I mean, it's challenging. And what I wrote is I write letters to my dogs, when they pass, and things that regrets that I might have, and things that I just am processing, to share that loss and that grief. And so it really is powerful, writing letters to your dogs, because oftentimes we have regrets, not spending more time with them, not doing, or because dog training has evolved so much in the past decade. Because
do you mean more about the way you train, or the philosophies, or?
Well, yeah, the philosophy. I mean, science-based training, it's positive and reinforcing. It's not about control. It's not about dominance. It's not about being the alpha.
It's a lot of stuff you hear. Like I still hear some of that in the dog training world, because, as you know, I have a grand dog. So that I've been active, with trying to help with things. But it's kind of sad that, we look at it that way.
So I competed in obedience because I was more interested in the behavior type stuff, and it's more time with the dog and understanding why they do what they do, and all of that, and also shaping behaviors. So I competed in obedience with my little Jack Russell Nipper, and she was just amazing. She got her CD companion dog, which is your novice title. Then she got her CDX, which is companion dog excellent. And then she got her UD, and this is all AKC, her utility title, which is your highest obedience that you can get from AKC. And she did all of that in the span of 18 months. No, wait a minute. No, I take that back. I think it was 8 months. It was 8 months.
I was going to say, I think you told me.
It was less than a year.
Right. I think you shared that before. Yeah.
And it usually.
And what's the normal?
Normal is 4 years.
Yeah, that's incredible. And also,
4 years.
Beth brought another prop.
Yep. And
I don't know if you can see this, but that's the AKC picture with you, and who is with you?
It's Nipper, and then her son, Dobby, and then Gryffindor was my border collie. So Nipper was not supposed to be my dog. A friend of mine wanted a Jack Russell that he could travel and go to the film festivals with. He traveled internationally.
Okay.
And this was during the time of Frasier. And of course, Eddie was, everybody wanted a dog like Eddie.
Oh, I remember Eddie. Okay, yeah.
Moose. And so I said, I'll do the training. So I did the training. After 8 to 10 months, I said, okay, here's your dog. And his response to me was, oh, she's got too much energy. I think I want a Yorkie. I was like, oh, gosh, what do I do with this dog? Because I had like 5 Great Danes at the time. And it's like, I was not a terrier person.
Yeah.
But no home was good enough. So she ended up staying, and she became my superstar. I mean, she did commercials, she did films, she could do, she competed in dog agility and obedience, and she could do fly ball and disc dog. The only thing with the disc dog is the discs were, the frisbees are bigger than she was, and she'd be
Yeah.
over the frisbee. But I mean, she was just really incredible. They just hired me, to be on set, and they needed a dog. I also worked 2 Belgian sheepdogs, and the two kind of paired each other. It was a female and then her son, and they played the same dog, but they had different behaviors that they were supposed to have. One, was chasing, the lead playfully around.
Mm-hmm.
And then also had to be also very protective. So, so one of them, Quanta, was the lovey-dovey one, that they shared time. And then, her son did more of the, aggressive type behavior, protective. So yeah, but I can't remember the movie.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you have, and by the way, the book, I realize the copyright on it's 1998 on the book. Does that sound right? Like as the first edition?
Yeah.
It's 2023. Like you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know you took a break, right? And
okay, I didn't take a break from training.
Well, not from dogs, right?
Dogs, but I was competing in dog agility. And so we almost made world team, like I started to say, with Nipper and Dobby. And then life happening, losing the Malibu house and all that, things were kind of up in the air. And so I didn't compete in dog agility for about a decade. And so just recently, I started coming back in the past few years. I have my Pyrenean Shepherd, Pax. She's been trained. Dog agility is not her thing. She does it because, she wants to please me. And she's good and accurate. But she likes to play the chase me game. So she's as fast as I can run. But then I also got G, my Hungarian Pumi, who's very talented, and my hopes for him is to make world team. He's got that much talent, but the sport's changed so much, being away and then coming back. There's so many new challenges.
How so?
In dog agility, like in past years, all of the obstacles would kind of be in flow, and there might be an obstacle discrimination, but you could usually kind of get there because I was athletic, and so I could get to where I needed to be to indicate the correct obstacle. Now, what a lot of the courses are demanding is that they'll use the dog walk as a barrier. So you have to send them through a tunnel under the dog walk and then do obstacles on the other side that you can't get to. So they have to be able to do the obstacles, give verbal cues, your rights, your lefts, and also oftentimes we're taking the back side of a jump, not the front side of the jump, which would be in flow. So they have to understand those cues, and so now I have to use verbal cues, and so that's been a challenge for me. But he's doing great. He's doing
Yeah,
really
I
well.
mean, I see what you're doing with them, what they're doing. I think they're both doing great. And yeah, clearly, I think if Pax could cuddle on the couch with you all day, she'd be just as happy to do that. Maybe get
Yeah,
up and catch a ball a little bit,
yeah, yeah,
she likes having fun with you, whatever that entails,
right.
clearly. But G, yeah, I mean, G is
He's
he's bananas. He's just
yeah,
absolutely bananas, like ready to go. But what you're describing makes, I didn't even realize that, like watching that there was a difference previously to how the course was laid out,
mm,
uh, and that it's so much more challenging now, because it's not intuitive, where it sounds like it was kind of intuitive before,
right.
where it would be super simple for them, just like, okay, hop over this, now climb up that, now, go through the tunnel, whatever, like it's all laid out.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah.
and it's and G, he comes from a line of and how I ended up with him is I was competing with Nipper, and I saw this Hungarian Pumi, and she was really tiny. She was small, Bella. And so I went to the breeder years and years and years ago. I said, I really want, a dog from your breeding. And so I put a deposit down. Well, 7 years later,
Oh my gosh, what?
I yeah, because life was happening. She called, and when I put the deposit down on a puppy, the breeding didn't take. So then I had
Okay.
to wait for the next breeding. When the next breeding happened, it was not good timing for me. And so we kind of went back and forth that way. And then I totally forgot
Oh my
that
God.
that I put a deposit down, and a friend of mine, I was going back to agility trials, uh, jump setting, and just volunteering.
Mm.
Uh, at the trials and getting back involved. And so she had a Pumi, and I was like, oh my God, I wonder if Karen will honor the deposit that I made 7 years ago. And so I called her up, and she said, oh, Greg, yes, of course. So she honored that. And I thought to get a small Hungarian Pumi, I had to get a female. And so I put in for a female, and then she called me up and she said, well, what if I can guarantee that it's going to be small and it's a male? I said, that's fine. I just want small. And so she had a litter of 5 puppies. 3 of them were regular size. And
Mm-hmm.
then she had 2. She had a Mr. Little and a Mr. Tiny. And so he is Mr. Tiny.
G is Mr. Tiny.
He is Mr. Tiny. He's really, really small for a Hungarian Pumi. So he's not real typical.
Right.
And in that line, she's bred Indy, who is on the world team. A friend of mine, Christine Brew, she has Indy and Boo. And Boo is, he'll make world team for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
So he's got a lot of
G
talent.
comes from a good line.
It's a good performance line.
You know what?
And that's another thing too, is like, being aware of what you want to do. What you like, if you want to get into agility, it's important that they have that, behind them.
Right, having a breed that's inclined to do that and enjoy it.
Well, it's like with the Goldens. There's show golden retrievers that are for show. They're beautiful, and then you have field Goldens that are working. That do the the hunt. Hunting things, retrieving
Yeah.
birds that are shot, and that sort of thing.
Interesting.
And it's a totally different build,
Right.
structurally. So just being aware of what you want to do and keep that in line with, with what, like, okay, you're not going to get an American bulldog and expect to do agility. Although there are some bulldogs that have done agility, but it's not typically what you'd see. So, so getting a dog that's going to match your personality, what you want to do, what you want to, what goals you might have, things that you want to pursue. If you're active, then sure, get a border collie. But if you are just want to be a couch potato and you just want a companion to lay with you, border collie may not be the best thing for you.
Get a chocolate lab.
Yeah.
And just feed them all day. They'll be happy. So I want to just kind of explore this just for a minute. I don't want to get like too sidetracked from what you're doing now, but you talk about breeders, and I feel like, we have a lot of great work that goes on today around adopting, dogs that are like in shelters that are whatever breed. They could be mixed breed. They probably not purebred, but who knows? But I just wanted you to be able to kind of say something about this, because breeders get a bad rep in general because they're looked at from the perspective of that adoption world and shelters and people that are breeding not thoughtfully, like not in a thoughtfully manner.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, to go to a respectable breeder, most of the, people who are breeding, they're usually the custodians of that particular breed's rescue. So when I had Great Danes, then I worked for Great Dane Rescue. When I had my Jack Russell Terriers or Parson Russell Terriers, I did work with Jack Russell Terrier Rescue. So we're custodians of those rescues, to be mindful and respectful of that particular breed. Also, what I do, what I have done on many occasions, is if somebody is interested in a dog and they want to go rescue, then what I'll do is I'll interview the family, get a sense of what activities and what's expected to have this new family member a part of their family. And so get a sense of, okay, long hair, short hair, does it have to be hypoallergenic? All of those questions. And then I go to the shelters and visit with the dogs and with them in mind. And so often what happens is we become very emotional. We hear this story of, what this dog has gone through. It was in a horrendous situation and all that. And we get caught up in the stories.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that. My gosh.
Yeah. But what people don't realize is like some of those issues that they may be, that comes with that kind of baggage, is beyond what they would be capable of handling.
Oh, you mean like behavior, like kind of having PTSD or something, like the dog being emotionally affected,
right?
Or physically.
Well, if it was in and all aggression stems from fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is about building confidence in the dog. Some of them are so fearful, and may have certain resentments, maybe, to male versus female, be, hats or, just
right. A trigger. Yeah.
Triggers. And so it may be more than what somebody is really ready to handle. So what I do is I go to the shelters and I visit with the dogs. And then what I'll do is I'll go back to the family and say, okay, go to this kennel at this shelter, to visit with the dogs. And all of the pairings that I've had, that's their forever home, because
Aw.
people have taken the time to address what they were looking for. I could go into into the shelters, and I know pretty much what what I'm looking at,
Right.
and be able to assess, will this be manageable for the families involved?
Right.
Um,
So
so
this
to,
way they're also getting like a rescue,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah. I
also
mean,
getting your breed information, and
well,
just
it's
your
more behavior.
capability.
It's more
Right.
behavior. Oftentimes, it's hard for the lay person to go into a shelter. You hear all these stories. You can get caught up in the stories, and they can be really, really cute. And oftentimes, what you're seeing, dogs in a shelter, they're relatively shut down.
Yeah.
So it's not,
Yeah.
it's not a great environment. So oftentimes, what happens is, when they get them home, and they start getting comfortable, getting more confidence, then a lot of the behaviors that aren't a match for that family start coming out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
so it can really be challenging. And
So adopt with care. Adopt, but adopt with care. Go
right. I
into it
mean,
knowing, what you're looking for and what you're
yeah.
capable of handling. With dogs that can be aggressive, that was the case for my grand dog, as you know. And that whole thing about training them like via play and playing games
Mm,
with them
yeah.
has really helped me, with my relationship with him. I just had to tell you
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So now it's like a game,
Right.
and he looks forward to it. Like he gets
Yeah.
super excited to come over. He's like
Mhm.
running, into the front door and
Yeah.
right over to like the special place where we play because it's like in a specific place. Yeah.
Mhm.
So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no, and that was like with Pax. I mean, I had some issues with her with aggression, and she was a part of that COVID puppy period,
Mm.
and so it was it was challenging because she was very fearful. She wasn't very confident, and then she's a resource guarder. So
Okay.
she guards a resource. Her resource was me. So the more work
Mm.
I did with her, the worse it got. So it got to a point where I did send her back to the breeder. And then, there was some time. And as soon as I sent her back to the breeder, she got her canine good citizenship because, she's in the dog world. She was at a dog show, and she got
Mm.
her canine good citizenship. And she also got her farm dog title.
Interesting.
As soon as she goes away, it's like, oh God, it's me, and so,
Yeah,
and
that's
so then,
interesting.
after she still had her for a while. And so I said, okay, send me a video. And what happened was she had a friend of hers doing dog agility and
Mm-hmm.
did like 40 obstacles, and, just kept running her through this, the obstacle course. But she kept going back to the teeter to self
Oh,
reward. She went back to the teeter to self reward. And I said,
really? That's
okay,
funny.
you know what? I can work with this, because then I can have her do, some obstacles listening to me, and then I can send her to the teeter to self reward.
That's
And so
funny.
I said, okay, send her back. And so then she came back, and everything's been fine. It's just really building that confidence
Yeah.
in her.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting that you say that because now I'm like, huh, I have noticed one of my daughters gets guarded way more than the other. And there's a lot more like aggression that has gone on in their presence. So it's interesting. You're making me think now.
Yeah. And oftentimes we don't realize how we're rewarding, but we are rewarding behavior we don't want.
Yeah.
So it really is, we really have to take a step away and take a look, okay, what is rewarding? Because what we think is rewarding may not be rewarding. And also the timing of the receipt of a reward. It's like a dog jumps up on you and you're pushing it back. Get off, get down. That's a fun game. For a lot of dogs, that's a fun game.
Yeah.
It'll just get worse the more you do it.
That's funny.
So, it just, how are we rewarding our dogs and what are they finding rewarding? Oftentimes people get introduced to dog agility. Oh, my dog can jump. They'd be great at agility. And it's like, there are so many layers to actually competing in dog agility. And one thing that I find is lacking a lot of is foundation work. There's a lot of foundation that if you are into dog agility, there's certain things that we do. Oftentimes we don't even realize it, but we'll do with our dogs. But it's getting them ready to make that transition. You get the behaviors without the equipment.
Yeah.
Driving to a spot and then on. So there's a lot of different things that we train, that the layperson isn't aware of.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I think too, there are a lot of people that, have dogs that it's maybe just like kind of, basic commands, full stop, like that. That's where we stop. And then, oh, cool. Like we can learn how to do this obstacle course. Awesome. And then they're like missing, the kind of, the basics, like you're saying, the foundation of what they should be using.
Yeah. I mean, it's also getting, the dogs aware that they have a back end, that they have a front end, that they, it's a body awareness. It's like any athlete. You have to learn that you have a body and also how it works and how to work that body.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
So much. All right. Yeah. I feel like you hit a lot of different points, it's all good stuff, kind of peeling back the layers of the onion that is Greg.
Well, and also too, like, I also encourage people to train tricks. Tricks are oftentimes stress relievers. So like if you're getting up to the line right before you're competing in dog agility, then, it's a stress reliever to, do a rollover, give me your paw, it takes down the energy level a little bit so that they can think. And so, when we train tricks, those are usually high value because we reward them a lot. We put a lot of rewards into the tricks, and it brings down the stress level. So oftentimes, if you are working a dog and they can have a tendency of being dog aggressive. Well, if another dog's coming, then you can do tricks and then get their focus.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that they can think and then not be so reactive.
Right. Kind of shift them out of that moment.
Right. And I like to talk about changing the channel.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, people need that too. People need that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're, ready to give a speech or something, and you're shallow breathing, and I was like, take a breath.
Yeah.
Or crack a joke or something, laughter, anything, to break that tension.
Right. That's what it was reminding me of, actually.
Yeah, to convert that energy.
Exactly.
Because it's all about energy. Right.
Yeah.
So convert that energy into something positive.
Yeah. That is so awesome. I hope that through your sharing, that your listeners, will get something from what you were sharing, much like I did from my grand dog, like just kind of picking up the tips. But also, I'm personally excited to follow your journey. Like I said, with especially with G, I know you guys are really going to crush it. And anyone who's listening, actually, you can follow along on Greg's social because he often shares things there about this. Thank you for letting me share this chat with you, with your audience. It was fun.
Sure. It was fun. And stay tuned. There's a lot more to come. Thank you for joining us today on Greg Louganis is Alive. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone you love. Until next time, namaste.
Yay Networks.